Hey guys, long time no see. So I was going to do this about a week ago, and I had to draft the actual document that I was going to talk to you guys about. I was also going to just make some content about some other things related to Marina and other aspects of the case, but I ended up focusing more on doing the document, and then I just did some other things so that I could, on the weekend, make a proper video addressing all of it. So what I ended up having to draft, there's something under the California Rules of Civil Procedure where you're required to preserve the written record or the audio recording record and all of your exhibits. When I first glanced at this document, I was shocked because it was sent to me so late in the day, and they gave me until the 8th to do it. So I thought, my God, and I thought it was probably just a form, but a super important form because you need your written record, right? So I started to do it, and then I realized, you have to list every exhibit that you want and all of this other kind of stuff and go through everything. So, and go through the dates of the hearings and what you want preserved. So it's a little more involved than just a form. And you don't have to ask for every single exhibit. It's just the most pertinent ones. But, with 2 years of going back and forth, that's a lot to figure out in a short time frame. Also, if you file anything wrong and they don't accept the filing, there's a chance that, you would have a problem because, as it turns out, upon first glance, I thought they were just saying we won't preserve the written record, which would hurt my appeal, obviously, but it actually would dismiss the appeal entirely, was what it said. So I really realized, boy, I've got to do this, get it done, and get it done right the first time. So I did. It got accepted the day before. It was submitted before that, and then the next day it was accepted. So once it's accepted, you're good. And then I got word from the other court that we're moving forward. So that was, after 2 years of working on this and this becoming even bigger than being about the one issue, not that anything is bigger than even saving one life, but it is bigger than that. And it's morphed into something that's, I think, going to be very important to a lot of people. So I feel like all of that work, them not sweeping this under the rug. And another thing also is that no matter what happens with this case, we've created a written record, we've created a evidence trail, and it's not going to ever, because of that, be swept under the rug, including with the future activism. So, and another way that we know that, that we know that it has an impact on stopping these people is that they're very worried about it. Every time I make even a little community post about the court case or about what I'm doing, the SOC accounts are there to tell us that she doesn't matter, that we don't matter. They come to her channel to do that. So obviously, we know that nobody would spend their time doing that if it didn't matter. They'd just ignore us. They wouldn't have such a vested interest in telling us how nothing we do matters. It matters. It's going to matter to a lot of people too. But again, if it even just mattered to one or two, that's human life, so it matters. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was Marina. So it's been a while since we talked about her. And like I've said many times, women who do things to children or who help facilitate the ability to do things to a child freak me out because they're such an aberration of nature to me. But add to that when it's their own child, how much more freakish that is. And Marina Abdula, the wanted fugitive, which is why I can say her name, there's a warrant for her arrest and it involves endangerment of a child. So she hasn't made a video now in how long? It's been years, actually, I believe. The last videos she made, one of them was, "Am I a getaway driver?" Addressing our claims that she could be the getaway driver because the warrant places her in Berghamsted on the night of the crimes. And she's not on the CCTV video. So where was she? What was she? And reportedly a Dutch official has said that something was in her name, possibly the vehicle. So that's why that's the allegation. But we know for a fact she was giving Ilias instructions on the app. That's in the evidence record from Ilias's trial. About the crimes, we know that they placed her there on that night on the warrant. So regardless of what her role is, she's evading arrest. So when I pointed that out in my counter video, she took her video down. We also know she was trying to make a big deal about her stamps on her passport and that those prove nothing, because if you're part of the Schengen agreement, you wouldn't get stamps if you entered the Netherlands or Germany. So when she was called out on all of that, and also on showing that she knows she's a wanted fugitive, she took the video down. Um, I've never seen anything like the brazen attempts to lie and extort as I've seen with those two. Um, Also, under these videos, all of the sock accounts impersonating Diane that they created, um, called I'm a liar, baby kidnapper, flat chest Luna. Imagine taking the time to do all of that and openly harass your victim. It's pretty insane, and they've been doing it for, well, I say they, I don't know who created the sock puppet accounts in terms of whether Marina does that or not. I don't know. We know Gaddis has a history of it. But and some of the things in his accounts where he's impersonating people he would be the only one that has access to them. Like for Catherine, those embarrassing videos, and for Diane, things about pictures of her family members and all these kinds of things. So he has a long history of doing that and spending his time that way, even though he's approaching 40. So that's what he does with his time. Tell us we don't matter, make impersonation accounts. And by the way, I get a lot of questions from new people that ask me, like, why I have my eyebrows on it, on the Primal Belle parody thing. So they were coming at me, even though Gaddis has a history of, he tries to pretend to be Catherine, where he tries to pretend to be Diane, and so on and so forth. So with me, they were going to say that I was impersonating Marina because I was creating storylines, and I didn't show my likeness. I also made it clear, though, that it's parody. I put the section of code where you can use things in fair use for parody. I believe it's 107. And I, made it really clear it's parody, about as clear as you could make it without showing yourself. But they were still going to go after me, like they do everyone. So I used myself. I used a couple of pictures that I knew weren't on any other social media, so they couldn't, locate me or anything. And I drew the eyebrows on it because that's the most prominent thing you could parodize about her. Would be the eyebrows, because I practically don't have eyebrows, so I thought that was funny. So that's why that. So yeah, we've never been impersonating them. We've made it clear that our channels are a combination of parody and comedy mixed with reality and very serious need for activism. So moving into the future, the Marina aspect is important because I really believe now, with what we know, that she just supplied him with that child. He makes it really clear in content for years that what he wanted was a daughter wife, basically, to raise. And this is a very sick thing. And the fact that she was on the internet, on dating websites, where he found her and her crimey family that they used for these crimes. And that she, basically, shot out a baby and gave it to him, and he's maybe doing whatever he wants with her. That's what he tells us. Is a pretty horrifying thing. I don't think she should be loose either. She has several children, one of whom helped with the acid and eating attack and was declared so mentally unwell that she needed, in their words, to be inpatient hospitalized. So this is just some pretty sick garbage. The system in the Netherlands doesn't work any better than the one in the United States, but these interactions between United States law and international law are what are so important. This company that facilitates helping people like this earn money evading arrest, and also contacting minors potentially who might contact him for a health consultation, who admire him, who are going over to his Telegram link that he posts on YouTube to talk about incest, who have the same interest as him and are being told that they're natural and normal interests instead of getting the kind of help they actually need. This is something that an American company is assisting with and profiting off of. So these are the larger issues that, because of Diane's case, we're going to be addressing. And another important thing to note here is that That's what's, in a way, as ugly and dark as all of this is the beautiful thing about this case, because it started out with Diane stumbling around, wondering if anybody would even believe her with her child, if they wouldn't die. And she ended up having this group of people gather around her as she's being attacked online, and we're willing to take some of the blows and put in work. I had people, when I started to put in work, I didn't know if anybody would really be interested in it. And I had people who put hours of work into compiling evidence so they could send it to me, who wanted no credit whatsoever. So, for anybody that wants to say this is a hell realm and a horrible world, because they look at people like Gaddis and they look at these terrible things, but not look at the other people who make it something else. And that's what we're going to make out of this. It is going to be something else. There are some human rights conferences coming up, and I think they're actually the ones that would be better are going to be a little bit further out than I thought. So like October, November. There's going to be a lot of things going on in legislation related to not just the ECHO Act that I've talked to you guys about, but several other acts. So we already have U.S. code saying that a private platform has to turn in certain types of crime promotion against children. But it's going to go further than that. They're going to, have to be held accountable for things that they do to adults, for things that they do to anyone that they make money off of doing that really are harmful. Meanwhile, they shut down free speech all the time. So people that want to act like people who want these acts passed are anti-free speech, are going too hard against the platforms. That's not truthful. The only way you cure deficits in speech is with more speech. And if anybody's been stopped from speaking, it's us. 20 hidden videos in the Netherlands for me. And the lawyer that helped draft that dumped them when he found out he was supporting someone evading arrest. To someone's evading arrest. I've had a couple videos hidden in Germany, where she's from. They have a fear of people in Germany getting wind of a net. His allegedly disabled abuse victim. A lot of evidence for that, or I wouldn't be saying it. So these are very, very, very sick, serious crimes, and the crimes in the future that they could be facilitating by continuing to supply this guy with access to people and money, as he has a baby with him that he tells us he's harming. That's something that they can't really get around with. We know that they know, for one thing, and I can't find an ethical loophole where it would make sense, where the larger picture of protecting speech rights would negate needing to do something about this level of crime. The two things have nothing to do with each other. If anybody has had their speech rights infringed upon, it's us. Diane's had videos hidden. Megan Gaines has had videos hidden. Other people have had to, fight their copyright claims and all of that kind of stuff. So we're the ones being worked against. Gaddis Actions is the system he claims to be against. It's not edgy or naturey and cool to be a fan of his. If anybody is someone that couldn't make it in nature, wouldn't fight for anyone, it's him. It's not us. And we do have a lot of really badass people on our side. And onward we go. See you soon. Bye-bye.